Okay, I got you both.
I can see both now.
Same.
Yeah. Right. Kevin, thank you for joining us for Mahashivratri.
Yep.
The fact you nodded off or whatever is not the least bit important. You made the effort. You get the credit. The grace is multiplied 1,000 times on that night, so all good. Don't sweat it. Nothing's good. Okay?
All right.
Only two people, well, Shakma and I, and then Shivadas and Shraddha made it through the night. Nadaji's connection went out on him, and he couldn't get back in, and I couldn't contact him, and everybody else fell asleep. So, no big deal. All right, Kevin, questions, comments, complaints, ideas?
How much should I be involving myself into? I know there might not be an answer to this, a definite answer. How much should I be involving myself into the workings of the outside world, like crime and all that? Should I really be putting a lot of effort into like trying to prevent that?
Is it part of your path? I mean, are you? I don't know what you plan to do for a profession.
I don't know. I have to be honest. I guess that's a bit of a subjective question, huh? I was wondering if there is some sort of Sanatana-dharmic perspective on that.
Well, there, the good and bad things will happen, and it's just a matter of is it part of your path to address that? Otherwise, focus inwardly and let what happens.
Okay.
What
I haven't been really into many questions.
What's the thing that's? I mean, you're gonna like join the Guardian Angels or what?
I wasn't really thinking anything as an example, to be honest. I was just wondering in general, like.
Well, something caused
I know
to come to mind. So.
Well, that's just an example. I know it's the Kali Yuga, so I was wondering if if I do anything to prevent or to bring about the next age. Is it like action that brings about the next stage through the people, or is it just
the end of the Kali Yuga will come when the Kalki avatar comes, and as HH has told me directly, heads are going to roll, and the Kalki avatar, which will be the 10th incarnation, the 10th avatar of Vishnu. Krishna was the 9th. The Kalki avatar will embody when, at the point where there is no longer hope for humanity in the Kali Yuga. Then the Kalki avatar will embody and will decimate the bad guys and set things right and put Dharma back in order, and that will bring about the end of the Kali Yuga.
Oh, that's interesting you brought that up. The 9 incarnations of Vishnu that have already happened. Let me pull them up really fast. I was reading that, and I noticed how strangely similar it matches with evolution. It goes from from the ocean to an amphibious animal to like a more complex land animal than to like a mammal, and then to a half human, half beast, and then to a normal human, and then to some sort of like god human deity, and then Kalki. I don't know what's that.
Well, I mean, there's talk about
it seems like
how Kalki will be, but I'm certainly not qualified to speak much on it. I mean, other than the fact it is expected. Whether any of us will be, strolling around in a body, I mean, we're just over 5,000 years into the Kali Yuga. It's a 432,000 year period of time. So the likelihood of us seeing even the worst of it before the Kalki arrives to square things away is... Oh, yeah.
I didn't know we were that early into it. That's not good.
You incarnated in order to utilize the Kevin body to become enlightened and liberated. It's not... It could be Satya Yuga, it could be Treta, it could be... I mean, you still got to do the same thing.
What do they say about the Kali Yuga again? That what is the advantage of being the Kali Yuga for liberation or something like that, compared to all the other yugas? Like something about the light shining brightest in the dark.
In Satya, people don't even need practice. I mean, they remember that they are all of it and that they have individuated. You know, the consciousness has basically gone from fully open into a contraction. Each of these contractions is an individuation, looking out through the sensory mechanism onto whatever plane or dimension they're incarnated within, whatever planet or world or loka they are inhabitants of. There are many of those things. We're in a multiverse. This is not... It ain't nothing like anybody's teaching in Western structures or academia or churches or any of that. That's just bullshit. That's lies. That's completely lies. But in Satya, the individual bodies don't even need to take food. They survive due to air and sunlight, like a plant would. So as the clock ticks, all right, let's say 12:01 is the beginning of Satya. All right, if we start at the top of the hour, then there'll be Satya for a while, and then it'll degrade as it gets further and further from the absolute source. Well, Kali is the bottom of the hour. That's the furthest. The individuated contraction of consciousness can be away from the source and the most focused on its individual state. That makes sense? Okay.
Yeah. So if time works in cycles like that, I've noticed that it probably would apply to a lot of other things too. Like, would you say that an individual goes through something similar to
we're all a
their
part
own
of
yuga cycles?
World cycle.
I mean, yeah.
Everything
is there
is cycles. There's nothing but that.
More layers of cycles.
As one ends, the next starts. You know, it's just, there's not delineated steps, and you know what I mean? People want to break this down into what the Western mind can process and break into pieces and weigh and measure and evaluate, and it's just not like that in all actuality. I mean, it's very convenient to the Western thought process and individuated, externalized mind that, you know, really loves order and measurement and surety and all of those things, which are completely illusory to begin with. But yeah, that's just what the Western, you know, in the Eastern teachings, they don't even look at it like that. They don't even think of, I mean, karma and all of that is naturally occurring, but it's not seen as like sequential or linear. You know, it's all happening. That's it. Just stop right there. You know, no further examination or breaking apart. You know, making something more complicated doesn't make it better. It just makes it more complicated. The last we have to remember, the easier things yet, you know. You were saying?
Right. So, so would there be different yugas happening in
Well,
different
time
places
space
in the
is
universe?
the fourth
Because
dimension.
the farther you move in space, you move in time too.
Both.
So over
Because
here,
without time, you cannot have space.
right?
Time is the measurement of movement within space. That's all it is. So there can't be space and no time,
Okay. Right.
and there can't be time and no space. So they together are the fourth
Yeah,
dimension we can be actually directly aware of,
I agree.
and then transcend. Where once you've transcended time space, it's just always now. Yesterday's not here. Tomorrow ain't coming. Those are concepts. That's ideas, notions of the mind, not the reality. It's just now, all the time. That's all we really have here. If you back away a little bit and broaden your perspective, you know, point at yesterday. Show me something from yesterday until we transcend that particular notion. But even then,
All exists
in
in our
order
mind.
to interact with other individuated units of consciousness, we must still refer to things in that way. You know, that's just the group consciousness. All the individuated units will perceive that or not perceive that in whatever way is appropriate to them at any given time. But I would say, well, actually, I'm going to say I am not confident to say either way, whether in some other part of creation. See, I don't see it as physical. You're looking at it like it's physical, and then maybe somewhere else that you could throw a quantum rock at. Time is somehow, well, okay. All the possibilities are out there. Who the hell am I to pick which one is happening or not happening? All the possibilities are in play during each world cycle. And as you'll hear me quote a lot, Vashista, who's been a guru for many world cycles, as Vashista, and he remembers and tells Rama, you know, there's a book, one of the best, called the Yoga Vashista, or Vashista's Yoga, and he's brought in by Rama's father. He's like, my boy won't. He's not going to take over the kingdom. He doesn't want to live. He's becoming a recluse, and he's just sitting in meditation all the time. Can't get him to look at the dancing girls or the gardens or the food. Fascista, please do what you do. You know, and the Fascista's like, okay, whatever. And then in the parts, you know, where he's educating Rama and telling him how all this stuff works, because Rama is an incarnation of Vishnu. He just forgot. He don't know. Just like the Kalki avatar will come, be embodied, be a normal human being until he remembers, which will most likely be stimulated by some sage or some siddha or whatever. But he will then remember. Oh! And he'll go through his own process to grow into the fullness of the Kalki avatar, and then he'll start squaring things away, because that's his job. That's the only purpose in him breathing. So this could be, you know, that type of, that situation at whatever point it occurs can be seen as analogous to, the second coming of Christ kind of thing from the Christian traditions. So if John, the writer of Revelation, was actually perceiving future events and seeing things, he really didn't know even how to talk about this stuff. He could only say what he could say at that time, with the understanding he had. But if that is the events that he perceived, it would fit both. Because when this Kalki avatar comes, he will be known as a divine figure. I mean, he's not here to play. And heads will roll. He will destroy the adharmic societies and people, and he will lay waste to them and reset Dharma to move them into a Satya Yuga. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, that's the story. In where this is talked about, they say that the Ganges, the Yamuna, and the Saraswati rivers have all dried up by then.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ways we can, take a look at it from our current physical reality point of view and say, well, right now only one of those rivers is gone. The Ganges and the Yamuna still exist. The Saraswati has dried up or gone away. But the other two still exist and still flow together, from up in the Himalayas. But in the Purana, where I believe it's from, where this story of the Kalki Avatar is told, it is said that all those rivers are gone. And mankind, humanity, has no chance anymore. Because the evil has become so prevalent, so in control, that we can't fight it. Only the Avatar. I'm getting all bhakti here. Only Kalki can come and take care of us. And that's the story. So the few ticks and tocks on the clock that we're breathing for, who knows whether we'll actually see. I'm sorry, not a big.
I was just...
All indigenous cultures with actual wise people have this sort of thing. It's not.
I was just reading some more of the Hopi legends because of the document that you had sent over.
I'm looking at a handsome black man.
They have a very similar story to that.
No big. But yeah.
Oh,
why would
oops.
I don't.
That was an accident.
No, see, okay, here's the thing with the Shakti sending, receiving.
The black man, if you see a picture of him, are you able to send Shakti to him?
Does a river jump out into your bucket?
I don't know, but that'd be funny. That'd be interesting. Are you able to
this Swami and dip your bucket in the river of Shakti so you can receive to whatever degree you can hold.
No.
The river isn't going to jump out into the banks and make everybody wet. That's not its job. That's not how it works. It's the same way with the Shakti thing.
That makes sense.
There can be subtle influences made by people at certain levels that can be helpful to people without their direct knowledge. But generally, the wiser thing to do is just let the karmas play out. Whatever's going on that you're taking some feeling of wishing to relieve them of, understand there's probably a reason they're going through that. And if they're not interested in awakening or whatever, it's just not their time yet. That's all. Yeah, I hope that makes it understandable as best this I can talk about it. I've seen amazing things happen, but I guarantee you, I didn't do them. That's the thing.
I just want to know the dynamics of the Shakti.
It's like when I told you, think of HH as the transmitter in the building of a radio station. Think of this Swami as like the tower that the signal gets pushed through, and then your own spinal cord is like a radio antenna. That's a pretty decent analogy. He set this Swami up to do what happens. Seriously, there's not much doing on my part. At first, I thought there was, because I had done other esoteric and inner and martial arts things that did work like that. That did take from my personal store of chi and that sort of thing. This is not like that. I'm not telling Shakti what to do. Wouldn't have the temerity, the audacity or arrogance to think this Swami mind knows more than the very force which purpose is to liberate mankind. Now, I understand a little, and I've seen a great deal that I can't, in all honesty, fully describe in a way that would make sense to anybody until they see it themselves, and then they'll go, "Oh, okay," and then we'll just kind of smile at each other. Yeah, that's that's just the way that stuff works. Natalie, anything you want to bring up or comment on anything he had to say?
All right.
Now we've met.
I think that would be all my questions. I can think of.
Both of you close your eyes for this one. Focus on the third eye area.
I guess that's it.
Don't imagine.
Well, then let's sit down in a proper area.
Om Namo Narayana. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Guru Om Shivaham. Om Sadhuranath Maharaj. Good. Yeah. How so? Can you describe it? Good. hmm I've been through a whole bunch of different perceptions and feelings and emotions and thoughts that were, some were very close to correct, some were complete shit.
I can really feel that side. Very tangible.
But yeah, there was a period of time where there was
I
a
felt
lot
like,
of
yeah, kind of
this,
felt like a pressure.
sort of like
Not
you
the same
were
as like a vibration, but like a
manually,
pushing,
like
more like in my head.
finger
Like
pushing
it was moving,
inwards,
more like it
like there's a
being manipulated.
resistance and a stretching
Is that what it usually
where
feels
the
like for you?
finger is like going boing, 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 you know? And yeah, I've had that. Huh? Like, nope. Okay. Yeah. Understood. Well, not strange to us. To other people, probably. But see, we're hip to stuff that they don't know anything about, or they might have read something about. Very few that you're going to run into are going to have this within their toolbox of things to talk about. Pretty much the best you're going to find
I like being milked.
are those who have had
almost
some exposure.
It's almost like
to someone
like a cow being
who
milked.
is a skilled communicator on the topic of mysticism
Strange
or
description, that's how it feels like,
but not direct words from Guru or the representative of the Guru. Because, like, this Swami ain't the Guru. This Swami is just a representative sent by the Guru to assist others. Even once he puts the title Paramahamsa on me, I'm not Guru.
That's true.
There's only one, unless he makes some decision otherwise, which he's completely entitled to do. But the Swamis of a Guru first come to the title Swami because they are sincerely dedicated to their sadhana and reaching a point that is clearly visible to the Guru as being worthy of that title, because perhaps you're aware, perhaps you're not. In India, once you receive consecration as a Swami, your birth name is dead, legally. Now I've got to go to court here to change my name from the birth name to my Swami title. I'm just going to have it made Swami Shiva, because Shivananda Giri is like hard for people to read, and takes up a lot of time to write, and blah 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 blah. So my legal name, within a rather short period of time now, will be legally changed to where my driver's license, my birth certificate will be reissued, my passport will all just say Swami Shiva. But that's something HH approved of this Swami doing. That's not normally done, though. to completely abandon the birth name here in the West is not something. I mean, he didn't do it. It's not, but he's approved of this Swami doing it. Why? Don't know. Didn't ask. Asked if I could do it. Because it felt right to me, number one. There's a whole lot of different stuff that goes into it. But it's also part of why he authorized me to have the bindi tattooed on my head. Yeah. That'll never go anywhere. I went to a tattoo artist, had him take a dime, sit it on my forehead, draw a circle around it, now color it, and I'll make it red. Okay, we're done. Well, it turns out he is the son of an Indian chief, Native American. So there was we had a fair amount of higher consciousness than usual conversation, and where our truths and our trainings are really just saying the same things using different words.
It's tattooed. That's awesome.
Of course, there are always little differences of this, that, or the other thing, but we were on the same page, and he was like, "Oh, I got to take a picture."
Did you have an interesting reaction to that?
When this is done, I got the tattoo of Swami, and, whatever. That title in $6 will think of something at the Starbucks drive-thru. But yeah, it was interesting that. I mean, there have been. I made mention of it shortly after it was done, and I had some more traditional type Indian folk that I'm in contact with through Facebook who want to give me a bunch of crap about, you apply it every day with kumkum. I'm like, no, I had tattooed on, so I ain't got to be bothered with that. And no matter what, if I end up in a FEMA camp, I'm still going to be the Swami. And I will have my bindi. And I will utilize it in the way a Swami utilizes that mark. And for those purposes, no matter what. Can't take it away from me now. They got to chop my whole head off. So, if that happens, well, none of the rest too much matters anymore. So, there you go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Very. Cool. Good. What's that? Yes. You can notice the atrophy. Yes. Good. That's one of the ways that grace keeps us in our sadhana.
So I've had some of the same.
Do these little things, these shakti things, these
most of the time it's more of a
visions
stretching
and sounds
me, I guess,
and all of that stuff. Really, all of that stuff is
tonight
just
it was like
breadcrumbs drop along the path
in
for us to go,
waves
nummy.
back and forth.
I better do some more practice. That's really what they're for.
If I don't do my
It's not in and of themselves, the visions, the sounds.
If I don't do my sadhana for a while, I kind of feel like if you exercise a lot for a few days and then you stop exercising that one part, the muscle feels like it's needs to be moved. If I don't do my sadhana one day, I feel like I need
in this process.
Right.
You know, it's whatever is right for the one going through the process. And many times they will have some sort of other exposure to information about someone else's process, and then will mistakenly judge themselves harshly because they're not having those experiences. See what I mean? They'll see, a book by anyone. I mean, Muktananda's, the play of consciousness. That describes all kinds of stuff, all kind of vision and travels and all of that. But you only get what you need. It's not like you're ordering off a menu. Every meditation, you just get the meditation you get. It's not. There's nothing for the mind to approve of or deny. The mind will do that because that's what it does, but we try not to pay attention to that. It's just doing what it does. That's it. Not important. It's only important whether we get attached to it or become averse to it. When in actuality, it's no more important than the breeze blowing. Breezes are going to blow. We're not telling them to blow, and we're not telling them to go. We just kind of dig them while they're around, and, that's about it. It's not a... See, that's where the Western mysticism guys that, get into the dark occult stuff, the Satan and Luciferian and the Scottish Rite Freemasons and that whole crowd who are all about gaining power, having abilities, all that stuff, in order to get rich, to get control. We go the other direction. We don't need any more than what comes. He knows we need stuff. Because we are Shiva. We just had to forget. So those things that come along and help us to remember or motivate us to stay on the path. And we get these little num-nums every, these little crumbs of experiences or visions or sounds or feelings or levitation or any number of wacky things that can happen. That's really the only value they have, is to keep you focused on your sadhana so you can have more good stuff until you eventually hit the point where, holy crap, nothing can be better than this. I don't care what the thing may be. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, entheogens, nothing's better than this. Been there, done it, bought the t-shirt, had a beer and split. I mean, that's how it gets. That doesn't mean every day is perfect. No. Every day is just every day. Yeah, and that's real. See, and for people getting started, it's real hard to mix that notion in with all the mistaken notions about how they think enlightenment should be. Because oftentimes they'll think, oh, well, you should be being worshipped and magic powers and all that stuff, and that's not what it's about at all. That stuff generally comes well before full enlightenment, and then you work through it. And if you have a guru, he will kick your ass when you start messing with the wrong stuff, because your interest through your human mind will tend to move towards those things that you're greatly impressed with, or that you see as improving your condition in life. That's completely natural. That's human nature. Nothing wrong with that. But that's where the guru has to step in and kick your butt every now and then. I don't know if you. I'll tell you real quick this story. Once upon a time, Muktananda would stay with Nityananda for a while, then he'd go and roam around India. Then he'd come back and stay for a while, and then he'd go roam around. Well, one time during his roamings, he ran into a tantric who taught him how to manifest a rupee note that after 15 minutes would turn into a plain piece of paper. Same with a train ticket. He could do these types of things. Okay, I wouldn't even go so far as to call that a siddhi. That's a manipulation. That's a lie. Is what that is. Generally, a theft is what you're doing with it. So anyway, Muktananda had learned a bunch of this sort of thing, and he'd come back, bebopping back into Nityananda's place, and didn't even get to say a word about it. Nityananda grabbed a stick and started beating the shit out of him. You ain't learned those powers, don't you come around here, and ran him off. And he's like, oh, why is my guru mad at me? I learned, I can do this, I can do that. And he came back, and Nityananda started beating on him again. It's like, don't you ever use those things. You promised me you will never do that. And he's like, I'm sorry, Guru. I'm sorry. He found it's all worthless. It's all worthless. It's theft is
right.
what it is, And those who utilize cities, the powers, are generally only trying to make themselves greater, not anyone else. They want to be noticed. Yes. And that's what we're supposed to be erasing. Now, we still have to utilize the body and the mind in an individuated way, yes. But not in a way that we're seeking fame and fortune and name. If name, fame, and fortune come, great. That's nice. Of course, there's always, parts of that package that you really don't want to be bothered with once you become quiet, Was just talking to somebody the other day about superpowers, and trying to point out to them, a lot of people might think they want X-ray vision until you really sit and ponder what you're going to see with that. You're going to see a lot of ugly, naked people. You're going to see things going on in homes and buildings you don't want no part of knowing anything about. But now, because you have this power, you are now exposed to all this shit you didn't want nothing to do with. You thought it was going to be cool to be able to look at a hot chick's ass. But no, there's far more to it than that, it's never that simple. There's always these other parts that we never give any thought to that accompany any aspect of the development. Because if the mind fully understood it, it would just shut the hell up. It wouldn't encourage us to chase after this, that, or the other thing. It would be able to sit very quietly, which it does eventually. But getting to that point, everybody wants to try to, work the system, get 2 steps ahead with a half a step worth of effort, whatever. It never works out well. Never. And those who take up with the non-corporeal entities because they'll do this, that, or some other thing from the subtle level that has an influence in the material, that never works out well either. Because then you owe them. And you don't want that, even if you can. Because there's always a much heavier price to pay than you're going to get out of the deal. Those ones who can do that sort of thing and live in the astral, and, you know, that's their bread and butter, getting stupid humans to accept some little bit of nothing, and then they get the soul, you know? I mean, they get to torture that person. They get to enjoy making that person the saddest, most depressed, fucked up person you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's just not how it works, honestly.
You know, regardless what anybody's book says. Yep. Well, this is the time for that sort of thing. You know, that will be the norm. Those who are trying to gain power, privilege, wealth, fame, this is the time for that to be
True.
the most popular thing to do, because those who appear to have the most have done so. Sure. Oh, okay, when I say human, I'm talking more perhaps along the lines of hominid. The
Pretty sure it's
very
like that.
structure of a spinal cord and a spine and a brain and the chakra system. That's what I'm referring to by human. Because there are numerous species of what would most frequently be called aliens that are very humanoid in their construction.
Fun.
And they
Now,
can.
That reminds me of a question I
It's
have.
possible.
I remember hearing, I don't know if it's
Some
from
of
you,
them
that
are very
humans
benevolent.
of the
You know, I mean, they
humans
speak
are the
of
only way
these
to
are
get,
the lower
having a human body is
gods
one of the best ways to get liberated or something like
of
that. Now, does that apply to
indigenous tradition.
other areas of this universe too? I mean, I'm sure there are
They
entities that
were
are not
from
even
the
close to
heavens.
human
Well,
or
guess what?
animalistic
They
that
were
we think
cruising
of,
around in
that would
Vimana,
have.
in UFOs, or they could just blink, there they are, blink, where'd they go? You know, I mean, whatever. You know, any number of forms and fashions and types and species, from the third dimension to who knows where that goes. You know? But having that inner, what's the word? Structure, infrastructure, is what is utilized. That's a good idea, yeah. It's helpful. That's okay. Kundalini will move, or, I mean, if it were entirely
Daves and all that.
based on the straightness of one's spine,
Right.
a hunchback man could never become enlightened. So it's not that way. You know, I mean, there are those with disabilities and malformations that still, I mean, Ramana Maharshi wasn't a real healthy guy. His body was kind of messed up. You know, he limped around, and, I mean, he didn't have a perfect hatha yogi kind of body. But he knew, and he helped others come to know. Without any big rigmarole or anything, Huh? Well, when their time comes to do it, when that jiva that soul, incarnates each time
Start sitting up straight
you're
then, huh?
progressing, whether toward or away,
Yeah. I always slouch at
to
school.
the point of terminal velocity in the opposite direction, is progression too. You just, we're not taught in a way that makes us respect that. You know, each individuation has free will, and they can move in any direction they choose for any reason. That's part of the whole play of consciousness. So, no, and this third dimensional Earth planet is not for the purpose of everybody holding hands around the campfire and singing Kumbaya. You know, that's just not what it's for. It's a school, and it's a very difficult one. So there you go.
Right, I mean, it's another one.
All righty. I'll see you guys next week.
I just said, like, right, anyone can reach that level.
Hold
Really needs to.